Tell us a story, something to brighten our day and boost the faith of the folks watching.
Have you ever felt invisible? Like you're just one face in an endless crowd, one number in a massive system, one star in a sky full of billions. What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, there's someone who would leave everything behind just to find you? This is a story Jesus told 2,000 years ago, but it's really about you. And it starts with a single sheep who thought she didn't matter. Picture the hills of Judea, golden grass swaying in the wind, the smell of wild thyme in the air. A shepherd watches over his flock of 100 sheep. He knows each one by name. He knows which ones are timid, which ones are bold, which ones always wander to the edge of the pasture. And there's one in particular, so let's call her Naomi. Naomi was different. While the other sheep grazed peacefully, content with their green pastures and still waters, Naomi always stared at the distant mountains. She would stand at the edge of the fold, dreaming of what lay beyond the hills. The shepherd would gently guide her back, every single day. But in her heart, Naomi believed something the others didn't, that true freedom was out there, beyond the fence, beyond the shepherd's watchful eye. You know that feeling, don't you? That restlessness, that voice that whispers, "There's got to be more than this. I need to break free. I need to find myself." We've all been Naomi at some point, convinced that happiness is somewhere else, that the grass is greener on the other side, that we know better than those who love us. We look at the boundaries in our lives, the guidance, the wisdom, the protection, and we call them restrictions. Naomi didn't see a shepherd who protected her. She saw someone holding her back from her destiny. So one afternoon, when the shepherd's attention was on the others, she made her move. Step by careful step, Naomi slipped away from the flock. Her heart pounded with excitement. This was it, her moment of independence. She ran down the hillside, leaping over rocks, feeling the wind in her wool. For the first time in her life, no boundaries, no rules, no shepherd calling her back. She was free, or so she thought. As the sun began to set, Naomi realized something terrifying. She had no idea where she was. The familiar hills looked strange in the fading light. The gentle breeze had turned into a cold wind, and that sound in the distance, was that wolves? Her stomach growled. There was no grass here, only thorns and rocks. Her wool, once clean and white, was torn and dirty. Cuts stung her legs where the brambles had scratched her. And suddenly, that freedom she'd dreamed about felt more like abandonment. Night fell like a curtain, complete darkness. Naomi tried to retrace her steps, but every path looked the same. She called out, desperate bleating that echoed off the canyon walls, but no one answered. She was utterly, completely alone. The temperature dropped. Her body shivered uncontrollably, and then she heard it, howling. Closer now, predators circling in the darkness, smelling her fear. She wedged herself between two rocks, trying to make herself invisible. Tears, if sheep could cry, would have poured down her face. All those dreams of freedom, they meant nothing now. She would have given anything to be back in that fold, to hear that familiar voice, to feel safe again. But she'd run too far, made too many wrong turns. The shepherd probably hadn't even noticed she was gone. Why would he? He had 99 others. What was one rebellious sheep to him? She was just a number, replaceable, forgotten. As dawn began to break, Naomi could barely keep her eyes open. Exhausted, wounded, hopeless. She'd stopped bleating hours ago. What was the point? No one was coming. This is where her story would end, alone in a wilderness of her own making, suffering the consequences of her choices. A cautionary tale, a statistic. The wolves were getting braver now, emerging from the shadows. She closed her eyes, too weak to even feel afraid anymore. This was it. And then, through the morning mist, she heard something. A voice, hoarse, exhausted, but unmistakable. Naomi! Her eyes flew open. Through her blurred vision, she saw a figure emerging from the fog, the shepherd. But this wasn't the clean, composed shepherd she remembered. His clothes were torn. His hands were bleeding from climbing through thorn bushes. His face was covered in dirt and sweat. He looked like he'd been searching all night long. When their eyes met, Naomi expected anger, disappointment, a lecture about her foolishness. But what she saw in his eyes was something she couldn't comprehend. Relief. joy, love. He ran to her, this shepherd who'd walked through the darkest night, and he didn't scold her. He didn't say, "I told you so." He didn't list her mistakes. He simply whispered, "I found you. Thank God, I found you." With gentle hands, he lifted her wounded body and placed her across his shoulders. Naomi, weak and broken, felt something she'd never felt before. She wasn't being dragged back in shame. She was being carried home in honor. As they walked back, Naomi understood something that changed everything. The shepherd hadn't searched for her because she was part of a collection he wanted to complete. He hadn't come because losing her made his flock look incomplete. He came because he loved her, specifically, personally, irreplaceably. When they arrived at the fold, something extraordinary happened. Instead of quietly slipping her back in with the others, the shepherd did something unexpected. He called his friends and neighbors together, and he threw a party. Not a lecture, not a public shaming, a celebration. "Rejoice with me," he shouted with genuine joy. "I have found my sheep that was lost." The other 99 sheep were there, safe and sound. But in that moment, this one sheep, this rebellious, foolish, undeserving sheep, was the center of everything. She wasn't one of 100. She was one in a million. She was the one. Listen to me carefully. Right now, you might feel like Naomi felt. Lost, alone, too far gone. Maybe you've made decisions you regret. Maybe you've run from the very love that was trying to protect you. Maybe you think you're just one insignificant person in a world of billions. But here's the truth that will wreck you. God doesn't love you because you're part of humanity. He loves you like you're the only one. His love isn't divided among millions. It's focused, it's personal, it's relentless. And right now, yes, right now, if you're far from home, he's searching for you. Not because he needs to complete his collection, but because he can't rest until you're home. You're not too far. You're not too broken. You're not too unworthy. You're just loved. Breathe that in for a moment. You are loved. Jesus finished this parable with words that echo through eternity. "I tell you that in the same way, there will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous people who do not need to repent." Luke 15:7. One soul matters that much. Your soul matters that much. Heaven itself throws a party when you come home. So here's my question for you today. Are you ready to stop running? Are you ready to let yourself be found? Are you ready to discover that the freedom you've been searching for has been waiting for you in his arms? You don't have to clean yourself up first. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be worthy. Just come home. He's already searching for you. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because somewhere out there, there's another lost sheep who needs to know they're not forgotten. They're not just a number. They're the one he's searching for.
Peace be with you all, my children. Welcome.